Sitting here charging the battery. I forgot to charge the battery to the chainsaw. So I gotta let that charge. Then we'll go up there and cut the branches and sweep up all the nuts and then blow off a lot of the stuff on the roof and then scoop up a lot of the nuts and probably finish on Monday. But yeah, go out there and get the little work done. Another one they brought up with that Shroud of Turin with Dr. Jeremiah or whatever, and said the face of God. It's like, guys, God's omniscient and omnipotent. It says so in the Bible. Look upon the face of God. There is no technical face of God. God's omniscient and omnipotent. Okay, don't limit God to your own understanding. Thou shalt not render unto God any graven image. Okay, Jesus isn't saying he's God. Pharaoh's an idiot. Caesar's a wackadoodle. You're a dumb shit, but you're like Pharaoh and Caesar. So therefore, yeah, I say these things. Yeah. No, I'm not going to sit here and sound like the most articulate. I'm going to butter your bread to get my bread buttered to go. I'm not going to jack you up onto the table. I'm not a union leader, you know. I'm not a teamster. I'm not a politician. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a scientist. Okay. I'm a human being. The little thing up there, you ought to see how what happened to Nerl Nebel. It's really sad. He got older. And life is hard because we're abusing each other with technology. Sad last year's. No, the only reason the years are sad in your later years. You read the book of Malachi? Okay. He's passing away and there's still faithful people, but he has to tell what's going to happen with Muhammad and Jesus, which he's sad to say, but there's still children that are faithful. And so, your story, okay, is only as sad as you make it. Okay. And, Jesus' story is sad because you make it that way. Why have you forsaken me? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Jesus' story isn't sad because Jesus is unfaithful and selfish and a stupid murdering freaking cow. It's sad because you are, right? And Jesus' story won't be tidings of comfort and joy and happiness until we're living what Jesus shared with us faithfully to live, right? Okay, so I'm not an academic. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a Rhodes Scholar. I dropped out of college because it was genocidal. Okay? Do you understand? I didn't drop out of college because I was stupid. I dropped out of college because they were. Okay? There's very stupid people in the world. Most of them are the top scientists and billionaires. They're very stupid. They are stupid people. Yes, they are. Okay, I will explain it to you. I can validate it. Okay? If you engage in conflict over what you think you know and what you want, you put all that we need to exist intelligently at risk. Okay? So don't fucking tell me that the stupidest people in the world aren't billionaires and scientists. Okay? Because it's that what I made is a valid statement. Okay? Your perception is invalid because you're as stupid as they are. Okay? So don't tell me the stupidest people in the world aren't scientists and billionaires, because they are. Mm-hmm. The most intelligent people in the world are anonymously tortured by scientists and billionaires for being more intelligent than them. Okay? And turned into mythological creatures, the face of God on the Shroud of Turin. Guys, if a relic of remains of a cloth that covered a dead person makes you feel holy and like I watched that on what was the name of that? Zorro, right? When the guy goes and buys the little golden cup with the jewels in it, and I will put it into church and it will make the people feel faith. Think of it. What? If Getting together with people that are faithful and kind and caring and share care, given according to need, built to last, and live the truth of Proverbs isn't enough to make you a religious person. What is a gold cup with rocks in it going to do? Huh? Let's make a Steven Spielberg movie. Hey, Harrison Ford and what's her face? You know, the girl who's kissing all the parts that hurts on the, what's her name again? I forget. You know, don't look at the box. It'll eat your eyes out like it does the Nazis. I mean, it's stupid. Okay? It is wrong to believe in things that are stupid and say it makes me have faith in God. That is the most inane, irrational, stupid, murderous, bad thinking, wrong thinking in the history of the world. Right? The conversation I had with the kids from the United States after my Islamic studies class at ASU back in the 90s, when I had that long conversation during, my time when I was at home studying and Patrick was with his mom because she didn't want to lose tax money. And we had all those talks and those prayers. And at the end of the class, we took our final, and we were outside talking on the thing, and the two or three Arab kids were talking. The two or three Arab kids were talking about it with the two or three United States kids with me. And the two United States said, well, if I was alive in Moses' time and I saw the Red Sea parting and all that stuff, I'd believe in it too. And I said, no, that's not the whole point. The whole point about the Quran is to redeem the truth of the Gospels, that, that you believe in God because of, what is greater than yourself. What if you don't, if the bird flying in the tree in the atmosphere and what it takes for our planet to exist in this galaxy, the way everything is, that's what gives you faith in God. And something greater than yourself that sustains and provides our lives. And all the Muslim kids were sitting there with their arms folded, shaking their heads, going, he gets it. And the two American kids were like, if Cecil B. DeMille was real, I would believe in God. Really? Okay. Not the beauty and the amazingness of what is required for us to have the bumblebee and the sparrow and the atmosphere and the photosynthesis. That doesn't make you believe in God. Okay. What makes me believe in God is that which is real, that gives me the capacity to believe, to have faith, to live, to love, right? If that's not enough for you, then you're just not capable of being faithful, right? You're not capable of believing anything that's real. You're not capable of, like it says in the book of Revelation, having faith based on reality, right? Yeah, I was sitting there because I get frustrated because I love my family. But, like my brother-in-law with Elijah telling my kids when they were young that all Mormons are stupid. What was it? All Buddhists are going to hell and all Mormons are stupid, right? And I was like, I don't ever say anything like that to his kids. I don't abuse his kids with my irrational, limited moral perspective. That's wrong. That's wrong to do. I get really mad. And my poor dad does the same thing. When I say something about Buddhism and the Buddha or Muhammad, he rolls his eyes and they're not real. It's like Andrew Womack's people, when I sat there and wrote them and they said, no, Jesus is God in the life, and Bob Marley and Muhammad and Steve Biko are all in hell because they didn't believe in Jesus. Just like Muhammad does believe in Jesus. That's what the Quran's about. And so does Bob Marley. And Steve Biko is just as good of a person as Bob Marley, right? And so you're like trying to sit there and say, that's not what Jesus said. That's not what Jesus believed, right? And by far the most scientifically valid religious perspective of what we consider more ancient religious understandings, okay, is Japanese Buddhism. Okay. Not Chinese Buddhism, not Indian Buddhism, Japanese Buddhism. Okay? It's the most pragmatic, not stargazing, not making up. It's the most pragmatic form of Buddhism. And I felt like I was a Japanese Buddhist. My son Patrick did too for the longest time. Okay. Because it was based on pragmatic, eternal understanding of an essence that provides our life so we sustain through faithfully loving one another. Okay, and there wasn't any room for mystical, magical gibberish in it, because when the Japanese got Buddhism, they said, like I did. Okay, life's eternal, grace is infinite. You never step in the same river twice. Okay, the water in the Rio Grande is not the water in the Rio Grande that it was yesterday. It's always flowing, right? And so that's why, to me, the most intelligent of ancient traditions of religions when I was young was Japanese Buddhism. Okay. And that's what I believed myself to be most of my life, was, a Japanese Buddhist. But with the Shinto extremist stuff that the Japanese corporations put into it, it's no. And that was the cool thing about D.T. Suzuki, was he would sit there and explain, okay, see the beauty and the truth in the story, but cut through the crap. Same way I am with the stuff. The living word. There's always a living correction to the Sadducees and Pharisees in the book. They turn it into mythological bullshit gibberish, and a guy comes and corrects it. And I told my dad today, I said, what always got me, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought the people writing it down, not the people that live the stories, but the people telling the stories. Because in some of the stories, there's magic intervention, and in the other stories, there's not. Okay. And it doesn't work that way. It's all faith based on reality, and there is no magic supernatural intervention. Right? Okay. When things happen that we perceive as supernatural or magic, they're based off of valid phenomenon through the way that energy works or conducts through life forms, through essence. Okay? So there's a scientific, valid reason why things are doing that. Okay? And it's not mystical and magical, and it's a miracle, Maria. It's just reality happening the way it happens when we're doing what we're doing. Right? Okay, so it's frustrating. Dabble, dabble, yabble, dabble, yabble, dabble, genie. It's me, a boo, yabble, dabble. I'm a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Buy my race car set. Buy my Fruit Loops. Buy my Frankenberry. Buy my Boo Berries puffs. Or buy my Count Chocula. Oh, I'm making Mark's toys. Buy my shoulders. Pretend you're killing each other with little plastic toys in the sandbox. Been there, done that. A lot of us grew up that way in this hell. You don't know me, but I'm your brother. I was raised here in this living hell, right? Taking it to the streets. You don't take it to the streets anymore. You take it to cyberspace, and you let the technology, okay, filter through the crap and see who's the biggest craphead, murderers, stupidest people in the world. Okay, we have quantum computing technology now. Okay. We're not going to let the people decide. The people sit there and think, hey, I can make anything I want up and call it real. I can call faith based on reality a silver dollar. She's the queen of the silver dollar. She rules the smoky kingdom. And, bar stools are thrown and her scepter is her wine glass, right? Who's she going to take home to have sex with tonight? The queen of the silver dollar. Okay, knock it off. And so, but the thing is, I want you guys to do it before I have to correct the technology with these videos. I want you guys to step up and go, he's right, the Lord's right. That's what I want, because we need it. And I'm not being attached, I'm being right. Okay? Attachment would be going, no, I want you all to buy my stuff and give me more money so I can have sex with fashion models. That's attachment. Wanting to be attached to that which is wrong and that which is unnatural because I can't have what I want. They're going to put me in the movies. They're going to have a big start out of me if I act naturally, right? Besides, I don't want to have sex with supermodels. They're superficial and stupid. They have too many business relations with the scientists of billionaires that are billionaire scientists. I don't want anything to do with them. Okay. And they are, quote, scientists. But a scientist is someone who can understand matter and manipulate matter, okay, to their means and ends, like the nuclear weapon, the SR-71, Apollo 13, right? That's a scientist. It's science. We can't get away from it. But you can do good things with science and you can do bad things with science. And right now, because we're stupid, we're doing bad things with science, right? Right. Okay. And when we're living the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer, and we're going back to Genesis and living the faith of Psalms and the wisdom of Proverbs, then we can use science to do good things with that, right? Almighty truth. I'm the proof of truth. I'm the proof. All these people, Muhammad is the proof, and he was the last proof. He's the last person that fulfills prophecy so we can all live the perfection of the Lord's Prayer and go back to Genesis to begin. Okay, he's the last one? Well, then why did he have the prophecy about the 13th, 22nd Redeemer in Islamic prophecy? Okay. And why do we have the book of Revelation? Okay. Of Muhammad is the last one. Okay. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. If I'm the only one on the planet right now standing up for us to live the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer, doesn't make me your first, your last, your everything. Doesn't that make me your Barry White? Only I'm not Barry Obama's brother. I'm early bird white. Well, peach. Okay. Mommy's brown, Patrick's tan, right? Okay. Do you understand? Dummies. I'm surrounded by dummies. Oh, battles. What was it? Cattle Car Gigantica. Cattle Car Gigantica. That's all you crazy Ceylon toast ass. But who couldn't like Ceylon toast? Why the fuck you want Ceylon toast? Okay. I don't care how you burn stuff into your toast. I do like toast. Hot butter? No, I like butter. The butter melts on it. I don't really put hot butter on it. But it is better when the butter, you get it right out of the toaster and it melts on there. If it doesn't melt on there, it gets all crusty and it's hard and it doesn't taste as good. So you like hot butter? You like melted butter on your breakfast toast. Not hot. You get it out of the fridge and it's, some people will leave the butter. My grandma used to do it, leave it out so it's soft, and then when you put it on, it melts easier. But me personally, I just like to get it right when it's quick, when it's hot, and make sure I do set my butter out for a little while before I does butter the toast, so it does get a little softer and melts a little bit, so it's not as cold. But the peas are all mushed and the chicken tastes like wood. Dairy Queen? Guys, okay? We can have soft serve ice cream without billionaires holding it hostage. Okay? We can have bacon cheeseburgers without billionaires holding it hostage. Okay? We can have refrigerators and color TVs to keep our food from going bad and to pass on information from doing bad things without billionaires holding the world hostage with their scientific stupidity and their sexual charisma. Sexual charisma, my ass. Okay? No, because the thing about it is dudes. Okay, Buddy, when he hired us, he said he hired us at what was the name of that place? Musicland, right? He said he hired us because we had sexual charisma. Steve was a stocky, muscular Bon Jovi. I was like a Freddie Prinze type. I don't know. I had a leaner face. I looked more like his kid. But I was a Freddie Prinze type. Dave ended up being a Chippendales dancer. Okay. The other girl, she's the blonde. And then all the rest of the girls that Buddy hired before he got fired, and then Jim got fired for sexually harassing them. So they definitely had sexual charisma, right? He did not hire Helen or Tom. Helen or Tom were his assistants that were assigned to him. Okay. And I think Helen had sexual charisma. Helen had more than sexual charisma. Helen was one of the most sweet, beautiful, kind, loving, protecting people you ever met in Phoenix, Arizona. She was gorgeous. You can ask Carlos Molina. She's a beautiful woman, sweetheart. Yeah, she was. I still remember that. We had to make sure that you could eat off the bathroom floor because Helen would get in there in the fetal position and laugh because we'd make her laugh so hard. Carlos would come in. Is the bathroom floor clean? Yes, Dad. Good boys. Now I'm supposed to chastise you. It was hilarious. Come out and play, Helen. Come out and play. Go away. Oh, God, we were stupid. Oh, we were hilarious. We really were. Yes, we were. Quite, actually, yes. Oh, Shazbot. There's a lot of stupid people in the world today. Uh-huh. Because they're all influenced by influencers with astronauts. Want to be an astronaut? Want to be an astronaut? Okay, you. What do you want? I want to be an astronaut and I want to be an influencer. I also want to be an influencer and an astronaut. That's just the thing is I want to be an actor and I want to be an endorser. An endorser? Yeah, how I want to be an actor and I want to be an endorser. Okay. I just want to come back and be a contender. I could be a contender today at the age of 60, and I'm changing my name to Izzy Iskowitz because I have new religious beliefs, right? Billy Crystal and the Boxers. Okay, and a fighter by your trade, and carries a reminder. Fortunately, this game is oh, this isn't the game that's almost over that is recording for the Cats game. That's the one right below. Has it started yet? No, I knew it. I told Dad I can't guarantee that SMU and Duke will be over in time for your game to start. Okay, guys, I love you. There's 4 minutes left, like I said. All right, lummies, we'll talk later. I'll talk later. Your technology will listen, and me and your technology will have you living in the kingdom of heaven as soon as we can get it done. All right, peace out.